Good day, everyone. We are here to discuss about our position paper, and our chosen topic is the Bataan Nuclear Power Plant. Introduction: The development of the 620 megawatt Bataan Nuclear Power Plant started in 1976. The decision to construct the plant was made by President Ferdinand Marcos, but with the collapse of the Marcos administration amid the People Power Revolution in February 1986, and after the Chernobyl nuclear accident in April of the same year, the new organization of President President Aquino chosen for some time recently, the Bataan Nuclear Power Plant was due to begin commercial operations that it ought not to open. Executive Order Number 116, signed on July 24, 2020, Duterte created an interagency committee tasked to conduct a study for the adoption of a national position on a nuclear energy program. The panel was authorized, among others, to evaluate and assess the need for viability of introducing nuclear power into the country's energy mix, including existing facilities, but not limited to the Bataan Nuclear Power Plant. For our thesis statement, the proponents for the opening of the plant claims that the use of nuclear energy can help the Philippine economy by reducing the escalating electricity rates in the country. However, it is also putting the country's health and safety at risk because of its geographical location and other hazards.
The Bataan nuclear power plant would be a great aid for the country's economy. Comparing the cost of nuclear power plant to our current electric utilities, Filipinos would save almost 4,000 pesos per megawatt hour. In addition, the Philippine Nuclear Research Institute compared uranium in the size of a pencil eraser to a ton of coal, proving that it is more cost efficient and material efficient than our current electric utilities. According to FIVOX and the PNRI director, Mount Native is a dormant volcano. They also certified that the power plant was not constructed above fault lines and is built in a solid foundation of hard rock. But if compared to the infamous Fukushima power plant in Japan, the BNPP can resist seismic load more than twice. Therefore, they dismissed the possible hazards surrounding the location. In the event of operating it, rehabilitation would be the best idea. The Korea Hydro and Nuclear Power estimated $1 billion expenses for the rehabilitation of BNPP, which is a big difference from $14 billion to $23 billion expenditure of building a new nuclear power plant.
The government may opt to consider the following for cheaper electricity. First is the use of geothermal energy, which is renewable unlike the uranium. The country's geographic location, which is along the Pacific Ring of Fire, makes it one of the world's top producer of geothermal energy. Second, the country may make use of the emergence of wind and solar energy or natural gas. Last is tidal energy, which predictability makes it an advantageous source along with the fact that it does not produce waste and greenhouse gases and is inexpensive to build and maintain. The presence of these alternatives make it unnecessary for us to depend on nuclear power. Availability of uranium is also a concern. Nuclear power plants use a very uncommon element, which is the uranium-235 that we would have to import from other countries such as Australia. However, importing means additional expenditure and another budget allocation for this matter. In spite of the assurance made by FIVOX concerning the power plant's location, it is not certain that no accidents will occur. In fact, in 1986, an explosion of a nuclear power plant in Ukraine known as the Chernobyl took place. This incident had caused thousands of fatalities and a need to evacuate. In addition, FIVOX recently classified Mount Native as potentially active. Thus, there is still uncertainty regarding its eruption history. The sentiments of Bataan's residents should be accounted as they are the most affected in case. Anti-nuclear movements had even emerged from the 1960s to 80s, aiming to prevent the BNPP's construction and operation. Its operations were then halted because of the Chernobyl nuclear disaster and due to the safety inquiry that revealed 4,000 defects in the power plant. The BNPP's billions of worth that the Philippines had paid for 31 years will not be wasted. Although these proposals still need thorough revisions, the plant can actually be converted into an oil, coal, or gas-fired station. Rehabilitating BNPP is less expensive than building a new one because 80% of it only needs to be overhauled and the rest to be replaced. However, it is still undeniably costly because its annual maintenance ranges from 40 to 50 million, and it will also take 4 years to train the operating personnel needed.
Let me affirm our position now. We believe that reinstating the Bataan Nuclear Power Plant or BNPP can cause a lot of setbacks. Not doing so can actually save the Filipinos from various hazards. The first one is the health and safety hazards such as earthquakes, tsunamis, volcanic eruptions, and potential nuclear explosions. The second one is environmental hazards brought by waste pollution and mining uranium. The last one is socioeconomic hazards since the BNPP is associated with corruption and the people of Bataan does not want to symbolize that. This can result in the emergence of anti-nuclear movements once again. To summarize everything, the BNPP is near fault lines and Mount Natid. Even if rehab is possible, it is still expensive, and without rehab, the more than 40 years old power plant can result in nuclear explosions, radioactive pollutions, and more. Uranium is only limited to some parts of the world, and lastly, the hazards discussed in the affirmation earlier. This stand is important to be heard because, as mentioned in the introduction, the government is now reviewing the feasibility of the facilities we have for nuclear energy, and that includes the BNPP. Since the decision can affect us all, it is important to take a stand about it. Here are some of the possible alternatives that we have found. Once again, this House strongly believes that the BNPP should not be reopened, regardless of its aim for cheaper electricity pricing because of threats to public safety.